I want to kick things off today with a pretty big idea. I think we're all fundamentally getting AI wrong. We see it as a better tool, right? A faster way to do the things we already do. But what if it's not a tool at all? What if it's a new miracle material, something like steel or steam, that's here to build a completely new world of work, of creativity and human potential? That is the core idea we're going to unpack together today.
So let's just get real for a second. Does this sound familiar to you? You've got AI to summarize your meetings, draft your emails. Maybe it helps you with the presentation. You've got more productivity apps than you know what to do with. And yet your calendar is still a total mess of back-to-back meetings, your inbox is a disaster, and you still feel like you're the human glue, just trying to hold a dozen different systems together. So why does it feel like we're just running faster on the exact same hamster wheel?
Well, the brilliant media theorist Marshall McLuhan actually gave us the answer decades ago with this incredible quote. We have this revolutionary new technology in our hands, but like you said, we're stuck looking in the rearview mirror. We're just applying it to our old habits and our old ways of working. It's kind of like the first movies. They were literally just plays recorded by a camera that didn't move. It took years before filmmakers figured out, oh wait, we can do close-ups, we can edit, we can move the camera around. We're doing the exact same thing with AI right now, trying to cram this amazing new power into the old shape of a search box or a slightly smarter word processor.
And that brings us to the most important mindset shift we have to make. This is not about getting a better hammer to hit the same old nails. The real magic happens when we stop thinking of AI as a tool and start seeing it as a foundational building material. See, a tool just improves how you do a task, but a new material, it changes what's even possible to build in the first place. Steel didn't just give us better iron swords, it gave us skyscrapers, and that is the scale of change we need to be ready for.
So, okay, let's break this down. Starting with you at the individual level. How does this shift from tool to material actually change the way you work every day? Well, to really get the scale of this, think of it like a massive personal upgrade, like going from a bicycle to a car. Steve Jobs had that famous line about the computer being a bicycle for the mind, a tool that made us faster and more efficient. And for decades, that's been true. We've been pedaling like crazy, and our output has been tied directly to our effort. The more hours you put in, the more reports you write. More pedaling, more distance. But with AI, we finally get an engine. And this upgrade, it transforms us from pedalers into drivers. Suddenly, our job isn't to power the machine anymore, it's to steer it. Our value isn't about the effort we put in, but the direction we choose to go.
And listen, this is not just the nice metaphor. This is really happening. Take this amazing example from the software company Notion. Their co-founder, Simon, he's a world-class programmer, but he doesn't spend his days manually writing code anymore. Nope. Instead, he orchestrates a whole team of AI agents. He's the architect. He gives them these complex jobs before he heads to lunch or goes to bed, and they just work tirelessly. He's not just a 10x engineer. He's more like a 30 or 40x engineer because he's leveraging this new material. He has become, as the slide says, a manager of infinite minds. The big takeaway here is that the value in the future isn't in doing the work, it's in designing and managing the systems that do the work for you.
Now, that is an incredible story for a programmer, right? Their work is already structured, it's already easy for a machine to understand. But it immediately brings up the question for, well, the rest of us. When do the project managers and the marketers and the strategists get their AI-powered cars? Turns out there are two major roadblocks holding us back. One is about context, and the other is about verifiability.
So here are the two core challenges. First up, context fragmentation. A programmer's code is all in one place. But our work, oh man, it's scattered everywhere. It's in Slack, Google Docs, email, Notion, Figma, dozens of apps. We are the human API, the ones who have to copy, paste, and connect all the dots. An AI can't drive the car if the map is shredded into 100 little pieces. And the second problem is verifiability. Code either works or it doesn't. You can test it. But how do you tell an AI to make a marketing plan that's an 8 out of 10? What does a good project update even look like? A lot of our work is ambiguous, and that makes it really hard for an AI to just take over and run with it.
Okay, so let's zoom out. We've talked about the individual. Now let's scale this whole idea up to the entire organization. If AI as a material gives you a personal car, for your company, it gives you the ability to build skyscrapers instead of just wood huts. The change in scale is just that dramatic. Before the late 1800s, this was literally the limit of human ambition.
6, maybe 7 floors, and that was it. If you tried to build any higher, the building's own weight, held up by iron and wood, would just cause the whole thing to collapse. It was a hard physical limit on architecture, and on how big our cities could get.
And this is pretty much the problem with our companies today. The iron frame of our organizations is human communication. It's all the meetings, the emails, the status updates, and just like iron, it has a breaking point. As you add more people to a company, the communication required doesn't just grow, it explodes. Coordination becomes a nightmare, information gets lost, and everything just slows down to a crawl. And we've kind of just accepted this as the cost of doing business.
This brings us to another really critical idea. It's called the water wheel phase. So when the steam engine was first invented, factory owners didn't immediately go out and build modern factories. You know what their first instinct was? It was to use this powerful new steam engine to turn the old water wheel. They kept the entire factory right there by the river because that's just how factories were designed. They used a revolutionary technology to slightly improve a completely outdated system.
And this, right here, is exactly where most of us are today. We are in the water wheel phase of AI. Just think about it. We're asking AI to take notes in the same inefficient meetings we've always had. We're using it to write the first draft of the same report we've always written. We are just bolting chatbots onto our old software, using this incredible new power source to turn the same old, inefficient water wheels of our work.
But some companies, they're starting to move past this phase. They're actually starting to redesign the whole factory. I mean, look at Notion again. They don't just have 1,000 human employees anymore. They now have over 700 specialized AI agents working right alongside them, handling IT tickets, sorting customer feedback, putting together status updates. They are building with the new steel, creating an organization that's reinforced by all of these infinite minds. So individuals get personal cars, and organizations get to build skyscrapers. What happens to the entire economy? Well, this final transformation is the biggest one of all. It's like going from the beautiful, human-scaled city of Florence during the Renaissance to the vast, sprawling, 24/7 megacity of modern Tokyo.
Think about Florence. You can walk it, you can understand it. Its rhythms are human rhythms. Shops close at night, the pace of life is slower. Our work lives right now are kind of like that, right? They're paced by weekly meetings and quarterly plans. But the AI-powered economy of tomorrow, that's going to be like Tokyo. And at first, it's disorienting. It's impossibly huge, it runs nonstop, and its logic isn't immediately obvious. It's built on a scale that's almost beyond what one person can fully comprehend.
So what's it actually going to feel like to live and work in this new megacity? Well, it's going to be faster for sure. Your individual actions will have way more leverage. But yeah, it's also going to be disorienting at first. Those old familiar rhythms, the Monday morning kickoff, the quarterly business review, they might start to feel pointless when work and value are being created continuously 24/7 by teams of humans and agents. We might lose some of that old comfortable structure, but what we gain is a landscape of immense, unbelievable new opportunity and freedom.
So, what does all of this mean for you, right now, today? The key message I want you to take away is this. Don't just sit around and wait for better tools to show up. The real opportunity here isn't to become a better tool user. It's time to start thinking like an architect. This is the fundamental call to action. Stop looking for little ways to use AI to do your old tasks a tiny bit faster. That's just swapping water wheels. Instead, I want you to start asking a much bigger question. If I had a team of infinite, free, tireless interns, how would I redesign my job from the ground up? How would I redesign my team's entire workflow? That's the architect's mindset.
So how do you start? Not with some giant 5-year plan. You start with a tiny, concrete action. Tomorrow, I want you to find one task you do that's basically just copying and pasting information from one place to another. Maybe it's putting together a weekly report or updating a project tracker. And before you do it, just pause. Open up a blank document and write out the exact step-by-step instructions for that task. Be super precise. It doesn't have to be perfect, just write down the steps as if you were explaining it to someone else.
Now, why is this simple little act so powerful? Because learning to write clear instructions is the fundamental skill of this new economy. It forces you to get crystal clear on your own process. It's the very first step in learning how to manage and direct automated systems. This simple act begins to shift your mindset from being the person pedaling the bike to being the person designing the engine and steering the car. You start the journey from being just a doer of tasks to becoming a designer of systems. Every new foundational material in history, from bronze to steel to steam power, has opened up a whole new frontier. And the most important thing to remember is that the future isn't something that just happens to us.
It's a skyline that's out there, just waiting for a new generation of architects to imagine it and to build it. So the only real question left is, what are you going to design?